Good evening, everyone. It is my honor to welcome you all to today's very special gathering. It is my special honor to welcome you all to today's very special gathering held in recognition of our esteemed leader, friend, and truly great human being, the Honorable Member of Parliament, Mr. Fabian Hamilton. We are privileged to have with us distinguished guests, respected councillors, members of the UKPNP, and representatives of civil society. Your presence adds great value to this occasion. Mr. Fabian Hamilton has served the people of Leeds with unwavering dedication. First, a councillor from 1985 to 1997, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe 1989 to 1997.
87 to 97. That's the correct.
1987 to 1997. And then as a member of parliament from 1997 to the present day. His commitment to the public service and his dignified representation of Leeds is truly admirable. Dear friends, I want to specially highlight the steadfast support Mr. Fabian has extended with UKPNP, in particular from July 2017 to onwards. We faced a very critical time at that time. Under the backing of the Bradford Pakistani Consulate, certain elements within the local Pakistani community in Leeds became passively active against UKPNP at that time. They approached many local MPs, councillors, and members of the society, including Mr. Fabian, in an effort to discredit our cause. Despite the huge pressure, Mr. Fabian Hamilton stood firmly with us. He honored his promise and participated in our annual convention. In positive behavior and leadership, we will always remember with deep appreciation. He was consistently attend our locally organized events in Leeds, never hesitating to show his support. Moreover, he became the first member of parliament to sponsor and arrange the first International Kashmir Conference in UKPNP in the House of Commons in 2023. In a speech there, his words of solidarity with the Kashmiri nation touched our hearts when he said, "I am proud to be a Kashmiri and we want self-determination." He didn't just speak, he stood with us in spirit and dedication. We deeply respect and honor those words. As a proud member of the Labour Party as well as UKPNP, it is a great moment for us all to celebrate, appreciate and recognize Mr. Fabian Hamilton's invaluable support and help all time. So now it is my privilege to invite Mr. Fabian Hamilton to the stage as we present him with this token of respect, recognition and gratitude, a shield that symbolizes our heartfelt appreciation. I request to my party, all colleagues, to come join me in welcoming Mr. Fabian Hamilton with a warm round of cheers. Thank you very much.
One more, please. Thank you. One second. Yeah, come on. They go, yeah, 55. Thank you very much.
Well, dear friends, permit me to say a few words. I'm slightly overwhelmed.
Thank you.
With your kindness and your generosity and those beautiful words, and all of you being here on a Sunday evening. This is not something I'm used to. Most people these days don't have very nice words to say about anything, but we carry on regardless, as we do as councillors. We're committed to the people that placed their trust in us and voted for us to take up that office. And being a councillor for 10, actually it was almost 11 years because they wouldn't let me resign till 1998, was a huge privilege. Working now as a Member of Parliament with our wonderful councillors, with Javid, with Councillor Shazad, with Councillor Gulem when he was a councillor, and with everybody else, whether they're Kashmiri or not, has been a huge privilege. But the biggest honour has been to be the Member of Parliament for North East Leeds, one of the most diverse constituencies in the whole of the United Kingdom, with a huge and important and vibrant Kashmiri community. Now, Tariq, you made reference to 2017.
Yes.
And who can forget that occasion when we all received phone calls in Parliament and emails as well, and personal lobbying. You're right, 100 emails. You're absolutely right.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. I'd forgotten the emails. We were told if you carry on with the PNP, you will lose all the votes of the rest of the community. Anybody who's connected to Pakistan will never vote Labour again. But you know, there's a principle here. If you make a commitment to do something, and to a group of people who you believe have right on their side and who've worked so hard, you do not let them down, whatever the pressure.
Yes, thank you.
And I had to smile because there was some justice in all this. The people who were against your party and who wanted Kashmir to be absorbed into Pakistan, because that's what the Pakistani government said it wanted at the time, had a meeting with the Conservative candidate who stood against them. And it was somewhere in this constituency, I think it was Shepherd's Lane, I can't remember where. And I gather it wasn't well attended. I wasn't there, of course. And the Conservative candidate swore his support for Kashmir being part of Pakistan, whatever the people of Kashmir wanted. And he was so soundly defeated, not by the 7,000 votes that we won by in 2015, but by 17,000 votes. And that was because of you. That was the work you did, the work the party did. It was the right that we had on our side. People understood the justice that we stood for and the concept of peace and a just transition to a state that is there because the people want it to be, because they have the self-determination to decide for themselves. And we haven't got that yet, but the principle won the day. And it was Ryan Stevenson, this gentleman was called. I don't want to name names, but he's currently the Chief of Staff for Alec Shelbrooke, the only Conservative MP in Leeds. And he thought he was going to win. And he not only made the wrong choice as far as Pakistan and Kashmir were concerned, but he also told the Leeds Jewish community that their sitting MP was anti-Semitic. Can you believe that? It backfired spectacularly. And he's a councillor, I believe, still. Is that correct, councillors?
Yeah.
But well, he may be chief whip of half a dozen councillors. But the credibility that he had, any credibility, was lost. But this isn't about individuals. This is about a cause. This is about a principle. And we fast forward through to, you mentioned 2023, when I was asked by you, Tarek, and by all your colleagues to hold that event. And as I recall, it was in the Jubilee Room. Is that correct?
Yes.
Which is a magnificent room in Parliament. I think most of you were there at the time. And what could be more appropriate for the cause that you are fighting for, and that you are arguing for, and that you are advocating, than a room that is one of the epitomes of glory in the Palace of Westminster? It's a fantastic place to hold such an important meeting. And we had really great speeches from quite a number of MPs at the time. Now, I see something very, very touching. You put my modest photo there with the great Mahatma Gandhi. And you'll recall that from 2016 until 2023, I was the Shadow Minister for Peace and Disarmament. It's not a role that exists in government today, sadly, because we need it more than ever. But it's a role that both Jeremy Corbyn invented as leader, and then his successor, somebody called Keir Starmer, I think we've heard of him. He, when he became leader, rang me up in April 2020. And Sohail, he said, I want you, Fabian, to continue the work of peace and disarmament as part of our shadow Labour team. Because when we get into government, peace building will be the most important cornerstone of foreign policy. Now, I don't want to be disloyal to my party leadership, but it seems that that's not the case. When I was dismissed from the post, they told me that they'd abolished the position in 2023 because no such position existed in government. Well, I put to you that it really ought to exist, because never before have we needed more peace and fewer weapons than we currently have floating in the world today. And the idea that the poorest and most vulnerable in our society should pay the price for arms dealers and weapons manufacturers to create more weaponry to kill goes against everything we as human beings who believe in humanity, who believe in self-determination, who believe in the state of Kashmir run by the people of Kashmir, in self-determination. It goes against everything we stand. And I'm glad to say we defeated at least that idea that the poorest should pay. Sadly, we didn't defeat the idea of rearmament. Now, I don't know where you stand on this, but my belief is that we need to make much more of an effort to disarm not just this country, but the whole world. And I don't know if you heard, as I did just this evening, another 70 innocent civilians murdered, and I say murdered advisedly, in Gaza. And I don't want to draw a parallel here, but this is a nation of people in Palestine that should have the right to self-determination. And for queuing up for food and medical aid, they are killed by an aggressive Israeli army. It doesn't even speak for the people of Israel anymore, because that's what I'm getting back. I'm talking to diplomats, I'm talking to Israeli citizens, I'm talking to Palestinians. Those people running that country do not speak for their people anymore. So even the self-determination of a country that's caused so much fear and hatred, it's caused so much slaughter and bloodshed and cruelty that makes us want to cry, is actually turning against their own government, because it's not carrying out the wishes of the people anymore. And let that be a lesson to all of us. So I'm sorry to bring all these things into conversation. I just finished with one small anecdote about a man that I've obviously wasn't alive when I was born, and I'm 70 years old now, Mahatma Gandhi. And many of us saw the movie, of course, but more importantly, to read of the life of this extraordinary individual who fought against the oppression of the British, who ruled over India and obviously what was then Kashmir and Pakistan as part of India at the time, and who effectively, through his leadership and his embrace of no armed struggle, of peaceful means of achieving change through peace and civil disobedience, managed to see the backs of the British occupation of India. And I say that as a proud Briton. We never had any role, we never had any right to do what we did. And that country, well, we saw what happened, but that was the fault of the British government. And you can blame the British government at the time for what happened in Kashmir and the fact that we're still struggling and talking about that right now. And I accept that fully. But Gandhi was the most remarkable, one of the most remarkable men in history, and tragically, given his embrace of peace, disarmament of humanity, of multiculturalism, it wasn't called that then, but the idea that we should all live in peace, whatever our faith, whatever our background, however we were born, we are all the same in the end. We're all human beings in the sight of the Lord and our Creator. Now, the little anecdote I have, I just share with you because it's quite amusing, and you'll permit me, I hope, to do this. This was 1978, when I was doing a job, which some of you might be familiar with, driving a private hire taxi in the city of York. I know some of you had experience in that. I'm looking at my friends here. We know when we do this role that we meet all sorts of extraordinary people. And one day I picked up an elderly woman. So this is 1978. She would have been born in the 19th century. She was in her 80s. And she used to work for the Archbishop of York. And as we drove past York Minster, she said, "Oh yes," she said, "you know, I used to work there." I said, "What was your role, madam?" She said, "My job was to serve the food at the Archbishop's dinners." I said, "Well, you must have met some amazing people." She said, "Yes, I met that wonderful man, Mahatma Gandhi, once." I said, "What was he like?" "Well," she said, "he wore funny clothes." I said, "Well, that's because they were homespun. They made them themselves on their own looms." But you know, the things he said were extraordinary. I've never heard anything like it before. And I was just serving the food. And by the way, didn't eat meat. I said, "Well, he was a vegetarian because he didn't believe in cruelty." And I said, "So I have met a woman who served Mahatma Gandhi dinner and had a conversation with the great man." And I've always found that very inspiring. And I love the fact that when we do roles like that, we meet extraordinary and unusual people. But look, from the bottom of my heart, I am grateful to all of you. This is very moving and very, very touching. I'm not sure I deserve it, but I accept it with gratitude and with the warmth in my heart that goes out to all of you for the friendship and the courage that you've shown in a cause that is dear to all of us. And I'll just conclude by saying, with you in this room, I'm a Kashmiri. Thank you.
Thank you, Fabian, for the beautiful and kind words. I'd like to say thank you once again for your role as a Kashmiri and a member on the behalf of our chairman, Sardar Shafar Kashmiri Sahib, and our sports chairman, Sardar Nasser Aziz Khan Sahib as well, and all the members of the UKPNP. I'd like to thank you, and hopefully we will work together in the future in the Parliament and work together in the future to make things better for the Kashmiris. Now, before I call upon my guests that are very close to us and very dear to us, our councillors, I would like to first of all